Today we're diving into a topic that I feel like not enough people give the credit it deserves. A little internet corner that straight up changed the music game. I'm talking about the Tumblr era, and how for a good few years this platform wasn't just a place to post angsty quotes or soft grunge aesthetics. Tumblr was running the music industry. No, seriously. Before TikTok, before the Spotify algorithm got smart, Tumblr was the tastemaker. So today we're unpacking that entire era, because it was chaotic, influential, and honestly, kinda magical. Let's take it back to the early 2010s. The Tumblr scene wasn't just about fandubs and sad boy poetry, it was a vibe factory. The kind of place where your taste in music wasn't just about what you listened to, it was about your identity. You weren't just a Lana Del Rey fan, you were Lana Del Rey. You weren't just vibing to the 1975, you were crying in your room with fairy lights on, wearing a black choker, and reblogging blurry gifs of rain hitting a window. Tumblr made everything aesthetic, and the music that fit that aesthetic, it got pushed hard. And that's the wild part. The music industry was watching. Quietly, labels were taking notes, because the artists that were blowing up on Tumblr, they weren't chart toppers yet. They weren't radio darlings, they were blog gods. Artists like Marina and the Diamonds, Halsey, Lorde, Arctic Monkeys, Frank Ocean, all of them had this chokehold on Tumblr long before they broke into the mainstream. And I get it. It's easy to look back now and think, yeah, well, obviously they blew up, they were talented. Sure, but talent wasn't the only thing pushing them. It was Tumblr blogs with 200k followers dropping a mood board with their lyrics in pastel fonts. It was GIF sets of their music videos being reblogged thousands of times. It was people writing fan fiction with their lyrics as titles. That organic, obsessive fan culture wasn't just fun, it was power. These artists became mythological because Tumblr gave them a mythology. Let's talk about Lana Del Rey for a second, because if anyone was the Tumblr queen, it was her. Lana didn't just drop Born to Die, she dropped an aesthetic, sad girl glam, red lips, cigarettes, Hollywood nostalgia, daddy issues, and Tumblr ate it up. The second video games hit, the reblogs were endless. People didn't just listen to Lana, they quoted her on every breakup post. They photoshopped her face onto religious icons. She became a religion of her own. So much of Tumblr served a generation that was hungry for something real, but often through the lens of nostalgia, something so far removed from the maximalist pop star era of the 2010s. That nostalgic imagery of Tumblr acts felt radical and new, and in some ways they were. Lana Del Rey wasn't merely a Nancy Sinatra copycat, she added a hyper edge and hyper digital spin to her nostalgic style. And here's the thing, the music industry wasn't ready for that. They were still living in a world where you needed top 40 radio to make an artist pop. But Tumblr proved that a cult following in the digital age could become mainstream success. The industry didn't get it at first. Lana was mocked, dragged by critics, even accused of being fake. But Tumblr was like, nah, she's the moment. And guess what? They were right. Now fast forward a bit, suddenly every label is trying to manufacture a Tumblr artist. That mysterious girl next door look, replicated. That sad poetic lyricism, copied. Even the aesthetic Tumblr photography, it got turned into album covers. You have A&Rs literally scrolling through blogs to find what sounds cool now. And when an artist started getting traction on Tumblr, labels pounced. Suddenly indie acts were getting major label deals just off the strength of reblogs. Let's zoom in on someone like Halsey for a second, because her entire origin story is Tumblr coded. She literally built her fanbase from fanfiction forums and aesthetic posts. Halsey didn't just post songs, she created a universe when she first began. She would write poems, drop cryptic tweets, and use Tumblr like a diary. And people connected with that. She spoke their language, and when she dropped Ghost, it blew up. Not because of radio, but because of Tumblr. It got passed around like gospel, and just like that, she had a deal, a whole rollout, tour, everything. And then we have someone like the 1975. They were the boyfriend aesthetic, messy hair, skinny jeans, cigarette hanging from the lips, and lyrics that really leaned into that whole aesthetic. It was like a Tumblr version of a heartthrob rock star. Their visuals were grayscale Tumblr candy. Maddie Healy's quote, they were a vibe before they were a brand, and again, Tumblr built that. And then we also have to talk about someone like Frank Ocean, who was arguably the king of Tumblr. Frank Ocean's entire mythology, from his Tumblr letters to the blonde rollout, felt tailor-made for the platform. His fans didn't just listen to him, they dissected every post, every lyric, And that mystery, that vulnerability, it worked because Tumblr wasn't about perfection, it was about feeling. But let's be real, as influential as Tumblr was, it also burned out fast. Around 2015 to 2016, things started to shift. Instagram got bigger, Twitter got more chaotic, and then a little later, TikTok came. And suddenly, the new tastemakers were 14-year-olds dancing in their bedrooms. And that's not shade. TikTok is powerful, but it's different. TikTok is about the moment. Tumblr was about the mood. TikTok blows you up overnight. Tumblr felt like it built you up over time and really gave you a cult following. While TikTok seems to prioritize one-offs. And maybe that's why the Tumblr era still feels so nostalgic. It wasn't just about going viral, it was about being seen. Your sad little blog with 1,000 followers, that was your own world. And when you posted a song or an artist you loved, it felt intimate, sacred, like you were sharing a secret with the internet. You weren't just consuming music, you were curating a whole personality around it. It's wild to think how many of today's biggest artists owe their entire trajectory to that platform. Even if they weren't active on Tumblr, their fans were, and those fans, they were marketing teams, designers, writers, hype machines, all for free, all out of love and obsession. So here's the big question, could it happen again? Could a platform like Tumblr run the music industry again? I don't know, maybe not in the same way. The internet's changed a lot. We scroll faster now, we feel less, but one thing I know for sure, that era mattered. It mattered to the fans, it mattered to the artists, and it felt like a blueprint that the industry still follows, even if they don't admit it, or even know it. Tumblr didn't just run the music industry. For a few years, it was the music industry. And we are still living in a post-Tumblr world, where many acts who popped off on Tumblr shaped many of the sounds and aesthetics being replicated in new acts today. And that's something worth remembering and celebrating. Tumblr had a massive impact on music.